Hello and welcome to Rose Play, Season 12, Episode 48. As always, I'm your host, Aurian MoonRose, and today we do the fourth installment in the Achievement Perfectionist series, which is The Walking Dead Season 1. So here on Achievement Perfectionist, I take a game's achievements, and I look at them in the story, the combat, playthrough, and collectibles. And that's how I split them up, giving each an easy achievement and a hard achievement, followed by, at the end, easy and hardest throughout the entire game, and some statistics of when I played it, which may or may not involve the playthrough through, leading up to a hard difficulty, like a game that we're working on right now, and just some fun facts. So, here is the first game in the series that we've ever had where almost, and I do mean almost, every achievement is completely unmissable. There are 48 achievements, and 47 of them are just not missable. And every choice in this game does not matter for it. They'll give you a choice, and you're like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? It doesn't matter. You'll still unlock it. No matter what choice you make, you are going to get that achievement. All but one. And we'll talk about that when we get to that point in the perfectionist area. Now, what I can say is, due to the fact that there is only two categories this time, and that is story and, honestly, I forgot what I put the other one as. But I'm sure we'll remember when we get there. At least I hope so. Wink. Of course I will. But, yeah, there's only two sections, so this is going to be a very, very short episode, which I do apologize for if you were expecting a good almost 30-minute episode. We might make it up there, we might not. I'm at least hoping for it to be over 10. So, let's go ahead and get started with our one of two categories, the story-based achievement. So, as we enter the story-based, there comes to be 47 achievements in it. The achievements range from anything from advancing the story, with sometimes semi-action sequences, sometimes to dodge an attack, or get away from a zombie, or not get killed by somebody shooting at you, to fighting the zombies and people. So sometimes you will get close interactions where you have to fend them off, or you're punching them, and you gotta press the right button, otherwise he'll pop! Oh, super death, to making choices. Now, these aren't just choices like, should I go to place A, place B, and I have infinite time to do it. Some of them are like, do I save the guy or do I save the girl? Which one is more important to me? Which one's going to do better in the end? And that's the thing. In this game, even though the choices do not matter, it does help you later on, sometimes making things maybe a bit easy when you have somebody who can shoot a zombie in the head rather than somebody who's fumbling. So it helps get you through the game for the achievements a little faster in that retrospect. But no matter what choice you make, you will still receive the achievement. So, if you choose to say Billy Bob and let Thora die, there's no achievement that goes, hey, save Thora. Nope. Not in this game. So, then, what were the easiest and the hardest achievements? Well, the easiest achievement in the entire game. Now, before I do this, I have to state and clear that technically you can play any episode you want in any order. I don't think you can play in between the episodes, but you can play any episode. So technically any episode you start up is the easiest achievement. Same thing with the hardest, whichever one you end on. But I am going to act like that everybody played it from the very first episode of Part 1 to the end of Part 5. Alright, so, then, with that in mind, the easiest achievement is out of the frying pan, which you freed yourself from the cuffs, but this achievement is just the first story-based achievement, so it's almost, again, impossible to miss, and one of the easiest, and honestly, there was, like, no diamond rare achievements within this entire thing, other than maybe for the next based achievements. But basically, small spoiler alert, you escape your cuffs from the cop, but the zombie apocalypse has started. No! The zombie apocalypse? You just ruined the entire game of a zombie game for me, Aurian! Alright, so, then it is the hardest achievement, which is What Remains, which is complete episode 5, No Time Left. This is the very end of the game, the very last achievement, unless you do the 400 days. If you do the 400 days, then the last achievement will be that one, but technically it takes place semi-in between the entire season, and it's DLC that was free for Xbox and probably some other things. So I was not counting that. So what remains is just you finishing up your zombie apocalypse adventure. So, this is where I get a small problem. We're going to go ahead and go into the next based and the last based achievements, which is combat. Yes, you heard me right. I chose combat, and I'll explain that after these messages. Nah, just kidding. Roll the next. So, as we skip playthrough and we have no collectibles, that brings us to the last based achievements, which is combat. Now, there's only really one achievement here, and to be honest, at first I didn't know where to place it, because the achievement is winning 2 out of 3 games in rock, paper, scissors. Yes, that's the achievement, and I decided to put it in combat? Well, hopefully I'll explain myself a little bit here. Like I said, at first I didn't know where to place it. At first I thought about playthrough, because you play through the game and get to where you need to go. But then I realized it's part of the story. Well, I guess maybe you could skip it by saying no, I don't know. I kind of played it every time. But as far as I know, you need to play it. So it's kind of story-based. But it is missable. So there's no way that this could be considered story-based, in my opinion, as my form of story-based is an achievement that cannot be missed. Playthrough is usually going through it maybe multiple times or collecting certain things, but not quite collectibles. So I finally decided that since story was out, playthrough was out, and it sure as heck wasn't a collectible, I decided combat, due to the fact that rock, paper, scissors is a type of fight. Rock, paper, scissors. Every action causes damage to something. If I pick scissors, they pick rock, they smash my scissors. If I pick paper, I cover, but apparently smother the rock. And if I choose scissors over paper, I cut paper in half. So I figured combat. Now, this is where it also gets interesting, because since it's only one achievement, it can be both the easiest and the hardest achievement. But I also mean this in multiple ways. So, it can be the easiest achievement due to the fact of, technically it's all based on luck. I mean, is there a pattern of what the other guy does for rock, paper, scissors? Maybe. I didn't take the time to look. But I mean, if you're just playing it willy-nilly, it can be the easiest achievement due to luck. You could do it on the first time. I did not on the first playthrough. It took me a second playthrough to do this. And then I also, did it on the show as well. It can also be the hardest achievement, because if it is random, then you're forced with the fact of they could beat you every time, and the computer could have knowledge of what you're going to pick. So, relatively, you could take 200, 300 tries. Goodness knows I hope not. So, the easiest and the hardest achievement was, of course, 2 out of 3, won a game of rock, paper, scissors. Now, one of the reasons why I am considering this hard is because it was the one rare achievement. And it was 8.9% of players completed this. Now, I don't know if this is because people actually didn't care about the achievement, if they didn't play the 400 days, or if it was just that random. So, because of this, I have to think that this was a harder achievement than it should have been. I might have got lucky on the second and third tries. To be fair, the first time that I did complete this achievement, the second time, no matter what I pick, I did horrible. So I took a die, a 6-sided die. 1 and 2 was rock, 3 and 4 was paper, and 5 and 6 was scissors. Whatever it would roll, I would choose. And, I lucked my luck and ended up winning because of this. So, with this out of the way, we're going to dive in now to the final statistics. What was the easiest, the hardest achievement? What did I think about the achievements in general? And some final stats of my entire playthroughs through both my first playthrough, my game playthrough for you guys on the show, and just me playing, trying to accomplish the rest of the achievements. So, let's go ahead and go into final statistics. As I look back into the final statistics, I first must think to myself, before we go any further, how hard was this game to actually acquire all the achievements? Well, I unlocked 99% of them. Doing so made the game really easy. I just played through the game. I didn't even care about looking at the achievements. I looked at them the first time like I always do before starting a game, but just playing the game through, not caring, goofing off and everything else, I acquired all the achievements but one, which was the rock, paper, scissors achievement, which might or might not still be RNG. However, I was then able to do this the second time, and even again a third time on the show, one with the dice, one without. So then, this being the case, what is the easiest and hardest achievement throughout the entire game? Well, the easiest for me still has to be the very first achievement of Season 1, Episode 1, Chapter 1. Now, out of the frying pan, freed from your cuffs, but is the easiest achievement. However, players can play any episode that they want. So by all rights, any easiest achievement in this game is whatever episode you decide to start on first. Now, be it, unless you've played the game on another system and you just want to jump into another point, if this is your first time playing the game, this will most likely be your first achievement just due to the fact, you haven't played the game. Why are you going to watch episode 3 when you don't even know what happened in 1 and 2? Now, the hardest achievement, and I'm sticking with this for myself, was the 2 out of 3 won a game of rock, paper, scissors. I say this because of the fact that it was the only achievement I could not acquire the first time through, and that's even talking about the 300 days, 500 days, I forget what the name of the DLC is right now, and I ended up doing it with a die. Now, if this really truly is an RNG moment, then this could either be still an easy achievement or the hardest achievement you'll ever have, because it could take you multiple times to get through it. So, with the easiest and hardest achievement out of the way, what were my scores for the story and the combat? For the story achievements, I give this a 1 out of 10. Honestly, I'd give it a 0 out of 10, but that would mean that you didn't play the game, in my opinion. Every achievement, like I stated, for the story, you just play the game. Don't care if you win, lose. If you make a bad choice, you're still going to get the achievement. For combat, I'm going to give this a double rating. I am going to give it, in case it's not an RNG and there actually is a tell within there of what the guy's going to choose, I'm going to give this a 3. Now, if it's RNG and you are really bad at rock, paper, scissors, I'm at least going to give this a 7. I could give it a 10, but that would mean, not a 7. We're giving it a 6. A little bit above average, because honestly, twice more I was able to get it, no problem. And that is the scores on both story and combat. Now, what's the achievement rating for this game in general? I am going to give it a 4. Because story achievements are pathetically easy. The 2 out of 3 can be a little challenging. It is a rare achievement for whatever reason. I'm still uncertain of, but because of the rest of the achievements being a 1, it goes down 2 in its score. So I give this game a Achievement Perfectionist rating of a 4 out of 10. So if you want a game to play that's going to get you a bunch load of achievements or that you just want to relax on, The Walking Dead Season 1 is indeed the game for you. So, with all this out of the way, what were my final statistics, my final playthroughs of this game, ranging from the very first playthrough to perfecting the achievements to once again going through onto the show? What did everything come up to? Well, I completed 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score. I acquired all 48 out of 48 achievements. I played this game for 1 day, 21 hours, and 1 minute. Just a little bit under 2 days. I made a total of 1,697 choices, and I died a total of 22 times, which probably means in the zombie apocalypse I am not gonna survive it. So that'll end it here for the Achievement Perfectionist, the 4th installment. For the next installment, unless you guys really want me to do the single-player version of Tomb Raider, the next one will be The Wolf Among Us. So, until next time, come back to the season finale of Season 12 for the review show of Shadows of Mordor, Middle-earth. Supposed to be the other way around, but you know what? Whatever. And remember, keep gaming, never give up. And I died 22 times. That was 21 more times than I would have gotten in a real zombie apocalypse.